What is going on, everybody? This is Franz, and we're here for a Smackdown live review for June 5th, 2018. I don't know why I want to keep saying May. Well, that May ended last week, so, all that good stuff. We did have ourselves... Smackdown has been putting on decent shows over the last... Since pretty much the Superstar shakeup and a week or so after that. Well, that ended tonight because this show was at best. I mean, we had all 4 members of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, plus 2 members of the New Day in a 6-man tag match, because rinse and repeat, WWE, rinse and repeat. Whatever they do on Raw, let's do it on SmackDown Live, only instead of the women, we had it for the men. So, I don't even know. I don't even know what WWE is doing half the time. This show could have been a little bit better than it was. I mean, WWE... Yes, it felt like Road Dogg was back on SmackDown Live. The only good talking points for tonight really were the Styles Nakamura backstage contract signing, which when was the last time on main WWE roster TV that there was actually a SmackDown, not even just SmackDown, but a contract signing backstage? Has it been since WrestleMania 3 when they had Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan in the boardroom with Jack Tunney up front, and they were trading barbs back and forth about the WWF Championship at the time. Even, I believe, what was his name? Bobby Heenan was like, this championship right here is awful. I want a new one, Chris, in for my guy, Andre the Giant, to symbolize his coming title reign at WrestleMania. Was that the last one they had in the boardroom? In a boardroom setting? Because that's what they had tonight with Adam Pearce and Dean Malenko playing security towards the end of the show, end of this entire thing, which Shinsuke Nakamura again gets under the skin of AJ Styles, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but then they probably will have a fuck finish. But Paige did say tonight there was going to be a winner at Money in the Bank. The New Day up to the same stupid shit again, actually having Miz supposedly picking who's going to be representing them at Money in the Bank, but The Miz, of course, gets embarrassed again because this is WWE, and let's have the New Day just be stupid as fuck. What else happened tonight? Let's see. We had Asuka take on both former Absolution members, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, in a 2-on-1 handicap match. We all know how well that went. Of course, Asuka would pick up the win. They're just trying to build up. They tried to build up that Asuka psyche is broken since she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania, and they showed that highlight of that match tonight in the opening segment, and then it made no sense to me, and now it makes no sense to me. The fact that Asuka, out of everybody on the women's roster, got put into a figure 8 that wasn't even completely latched in. If you watch that video back that they showed tonight, Charlotte puts the figure 8 in. Charlotte's arm, her left arm was compromised, so she only had it in like 75 or 80%, and yet Asuka tapped out. It still makes no sense to me that they did that. It still makes no sense. But of course they just want to build tension for SmackDown's women's Money in the Bank. Women's match for Money in the Bank, which it really doesn't mean anything. If Asuka loses this match by anything other than a fuck finish where she gets DQ'd, where Carmella gets DQ'd and Asuka wins but doesn't win the title, there is seriously some fucked up people in WWE management. Then that will officially prove that Asuka does not matter to anybody in WWE, and all the work for 100% that Triple H put in would have been for nothing. This woman should have been SmackDown Live Women's Champion, or had Carmella pin Charlotte after the Spanish Fly that happened in that match at WrestleMania. That match should have been, they hit the Spanish Fly, Asuka rolls out of the ring, you hear her fabulous Carmella's entrance music. She comes down, referee, I don't remember who the referee was, I think it would have been the same guy who called the pinfall anyway, and on SmackDown Live, have Charlotte get pinned with another kick to her face. 1, 2, 3. Asuka does not get pinned. Asuka does not tap out. Which, by the way, Asuka still, she may not have may not be undefeated anymore, but she is still not have her shoulders pinned in WWE. If Carmella goes to Money in the Bank and pins her 1, 2, 3 in any way, shape, or form, that is the worst decision they could ever fucking make. Plain and simple. But they could have did that, and we could still be to where we are right now. Asuka had the championship won. She got cheated because Carmella pinned Charlotte. Charlotte and Carmella still could have happened at Backlash, and since Charlotte didn't succeed at Backlash, Paige could have been like, well, there was another person in that WrestleMania match. You didn't beat her. You didn't pin her. She's the number 1 contender. And they still could have ended up where they're at. Only instead of Asuka getting pinned, Asuka tapping out, Asuka still has her undefeated streak. And no, motherfuckers, if Asuka does not get pinned or does not submit, and it turns out to be a cash-in like it was at WrestleMania 31 for Seth Rollins against when he came in and ruined Roman Reigns' chance. He didn't pin Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar didn't look weak because he was the one, because Roman Reigns got pinned. Same thing would have applied here. But Asuka's undefeated streak still would have been intact no matter what the fuck they want to say. But now what does WWE do? They ruin the biggest thing they could have had. And honestly, a match at SummerSlam or something would have been better for this, or whatever they want to do. If they wanted to keep Asuka on Raw and have the rematch at Survivor Series, Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion, Champion versus Champion, that would have been a little bit better. The match at WrestleMania felt shortchanged, and we should see these guys in a rematch at SummerSlam to have Asuka avenge her loss to Charlotte, and then, of course, Charlotte will go from what she's doing in Money in the Bank. She's not going to win Money in the Bank. That's going to probably Natalya, if Natalya isn't injured, but she's not, or Ember Moon, or Bayley, not Bayley, which, yes, I just did that too because Corey Graves did it tonight. Ember Moon or Alexa Bliss. My dark horse for the match for women is going to probably be Ember Moon because she should. If not, Sasha Banks would be nice, but I don't see that happening. It would be great to see Sasha Banks cash in Money in the Bank and get that heel turn, but the way it looks like the writing on the wall is to have Natalya, if she's not hurt, which I don't think she is, come out and take the title from Nia Jax, not pinning Ronda Rousey, but somehow, I still don't know how they're going to do this, not pinning Ronda Rousey, unless she's going to have her make Nia Jax tap out, which would be interesting because they're doing this whole storyline where we don't have Nia Jax. She's not going to be able to tap out to the armbar, which we will talk about that next week for our preview and predictions. Getting off track here. But, of course, that was our opening segment. They want to show that Asuka is defeated. She's not undefeated anymore, which was a mistake. And, again, it still irks me that they did that. Miz goes in the back. He's getting ready for his match later tonight, and they do something. They pretty much have the New Day embarrass him again. If that's on here, we'll show that off as well. Let's see here. We had the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers actually made an appearance on this show tonight. It was surprising. It wasn't a tag team match where they beat down the local jobbers or whatnot. It was actually a one-on-one match this time. And this is like a rinse and repeat to what happened leading up to the Greatest Royal Rumble. We had an Uso versus Rowan. Uso beat Rowan. I don't remember who was Jimmy or Jay. I don't want to be disrespectful to either of the guys. But one of those guys took on Harper or Rowan. But this time we're like, let's do that again. Let's take Rowan out, we'll put Harper in, and we'll use Carl Anderson. What happens here? Carl Anderson wins in a shitty roll-up, distracting by Luke Harper. Like, Harper gets this, gets one up by Carl Anderson. And, oh yeah, by the way, the Bludgeon Brothers had a half entrance, while Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson had no entrance. They got a jobber entrance. And these are the number one contenders for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions at Money in the Bank. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And there was another thing, it's like Harper was beating his ass the entire match, which was a short match, but he was beating his ass the entire match, hitting with a black hole slam, drop kick at the beginning of the match, and then he rolls him up 1, 2, 3. It's like, really? So that just shows that Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, which WWE half the time can't remember what they are, if they're Harper Rowan or Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Either way, it's just, Let's see what else we have. We had Lana and English versus Jimmy Uso and Naomi. And last week I was wondering, why is this Jimmy Uso and Naomi versus English and Lana, and not Lana and Rusev, like the two married couples wrestling? We found out tonight why that wasn't happening, because Rusev was already in a six-man tag match in the main event, which went just as much as you think you can when you have the New Day and Pancakes. We also had the contract signing, which I enjoyed it a little bit. Like, it was great. It got good when Shinsuke Nakamura was starting to be the dick that it has become. With his I'll talk. You'll have to hear it later, but he really got under the skin of AJ Styles. And the question going into this match is, how are they going to finish this again? Are we going to get another shot to the balls like we did last time? The rumor going around is that AJ Styles is going to have a cup and kip up and be like, haha, I got a cup, motherfucker, and 9-10, over. Or are we just going to have another kick to the balls finish and both men are down 9-10 and we have to go to Extreme Rules? Honestly, is there anybody on this show that can get a match with AJ Styles, just a throwaway match at Extreme Rules, so we can have Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles start at SummerSlam? I don't know. Maybe Miz will do something. I don't know, but there's got to be something, because this feud has got to end. What they did tonight with these two was good entertainment. That was a highlight of the show. But other than that highlight and the main event, really what SmackDown was again. After 3 weeks, I'm going to say 3-4 weeks of decent programming for SmackDown Live, they kind of just fell off again. Which go figure. But I will. It wasn't okay. I lied. There was 3 highlights to this show: Nakamura, AJ Styles, the triple threat the 6-man tag main event, and then 2 of the 4 horsewomen, Chalotte versus Becky Lynch. Has there ever been a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen match between? Remember when they did that Fatal 4? I think it was Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte in NXT. I think it was a takeover where Charlotte got beat by Sasha Banks in a really awesome way. Looked like we were going to have a bank statement, or like Charlotte was in the bank statement, and then she got rolled over into a 1-2-3 and have Sasha Banks win. This match was good. I have not seen, when it has a conclusion, a bad match between Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Becky. Those women always put on great matches. This was another one, and I didn't take much notes of this match simply because these guys were putting on a good match. It's great to see when you actually get a good women's wrestling match. And Charlotte lost clean, tapped out clean to the disarmer on Becky Lynch, which is great. I'm hoping going into this, because Charlotte versus Asuka at SummerSlam should be the match we get at SummerSlam. Asuka versus Becky Lynch should be your Extreme Rules Women's Championship match if that title is on the line, because quite honestly, Becky Lynch should have it. And it doesn't mean Becky Lynch is going to win, but I still think Becky Lynch versus Asuka would be a really good match. So Asuka winning at Money in the Bank, taking it to Extreme Rules, facing Becky Lynch, and then we can have Becky Lynch trying to say, well, Charlotte, you want to get your title back, but I'm going to go for it first. And then when she fails, Charlotte can be like, well, it's my turn, and I'm going to take my title back, I'm going to beat you like I did at WrestleMania, and you go on from there. And then maybe we can get some kind of feud for the pay-per-view after SummerSlam for Becky and Charlotte in a match that isn't for the title, maybe a number 1 contenders match, and we can have those two put on some magic. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That sounds like a good idea to me. Joe is one of the best talkers in WWE, in my opinion. He is definitely one of those guys that it feels like he's not scripted heavily. It feels like to me, because there are like The Miz, Paul Heyman, John Cena, and I think The Undertaker too, are guys who are not restricted by scripts. They can actually talk on the fly when they are allowed to. They are not restricted like everyone else is. I feel like Samoa Joe might have that trust with Vince McMahon too, that they actually allow him to say what he has to say, get it off his chest when he needs to. This guy always sounds like a legit badass. He always sounds like somebody who can just sit out there, say something, and you know he's going to back it up in the ring. Do I expect him to win Money in the Bank? No, but I expect him to have I'm going to say there will be an MVP for both ladder matches at Money in the Bank, because I do that sometimes. Samoa Joe, I can honestly say, will probably be in the front runners of MVP of that match. I expect him to have a good showing, and maybe that leads to his match at SummerSlam against an AJ Styles. Will Joe win the WWE Championship? Not this year. If he survives the catastrophic injuries he's had, and he actually makes it to Mania, I could see Samoa Joe being the WWE Champion next year at SummerSlam. He's just not. It's not the time or the place for Samoa Joe to win the WWE Championship. It sucks. I would like to see this guy win gold. I can see this guy honestly winning the United States Championship and wrecking havoc as US Champion, destroying everybody. After he doesn't win the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, which I think this is where this is going to go, and AJ Styles is on to somebody else, or if The Miz wins the title, I can see Samoa Joe, if Jeff Hardy's still U.S. Champion or somebody else is U.S. Champion, taking that title from a Jeff Hardy, which Jeff Hardy should keep until after SummerSlam, and Samoa Joe beats him. Samoa Joe wins the U.S. title and keeps it to Royal Rumble or even WrestleMania. And that would be his first actual title reign, and he can make the U.S. Championship legitimate again, in my opinion. Speaking of people who are mic skills, Samoa Joe is one of the best talkers in WWE. Big Cass is the worst. For the men on SmackDown Live, Big Cass is absolutely one of the most cringiest, terrible mic talkers out there. His entire, he holds a grudge, he says in his promo, which if it's on here, you'll hear it. He holds a grudge for Daniel Bryan. He says that at WrestleMania 30, he was in NXT still, as we all know. I think he came up the next night. I could be wrong. Or was that WrestleMania 31? Either way, he says that he was walking behind Daniel Bryan after he won the WWE Championship. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is there not footage on the WWE 24 special from WrestleMania 30, which I know they did one, where they show Daniel Bryan walking with the WWE Championship? Is Big Cass anywhere to be found in that? I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure if you look back at that, they show Daniel Bryan walking minutes after he won the championship, and Big Cass is nowhere in the picture. So your entire grudge is because Daniel Bryan is more successful than you? Because he won the WWE Championship while you were in NXT failing? When you were in NXT being a 7-foot shadow to AKA the guy named Real One now? So your entire precedent of this entire feud is because somebody is better than you and has kicked your ass, and you say, oh, a good big man is always going to beat a good little man. One problem: you're no good. You're no good. You suck on the mic. You suck in the ring. I have never been a big fan of Big Cass. His career in NXT was almost dead. If Enzo Amore would have never came back from his neck injury, which I believe was a neck injury, I saw Big Cass a few times in NXT before Enzo came back after his injury. He sucked. He had no charisma. He had no moves in the ring. He was a Kevin Nash-like wrestler. But here's the problem. Kevin Nash has talent. Kevin Nash can work big man matches. Big Cass does not. Big Cass sucks. I never liked Big Cass when he was in the NXT, when he started on the main roster. I couldn't wait for them to fire the guy. I know that's not going to happen unless he pisses Vince McMahon off because of his size. This guy is going to go absolutely nowhere. I have no desire to see Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass again. I have no desire to see this guy wrestle anybody. Have Samoa Joe put him in the Coquina Clutch. Have Samoa Joe write him off TV and send that motherfucking packing because he is awful. And another thing, with his size and that ACL tear that he had, I don't care how old he is. I don't care if he's in his late 20s, early 30s. This guy is going to be a liability with injuries. It derails, an ACL injury can derail anyone's career. They never go back to 100%. Look at all the sports athletes in basketball, football, baseball, outside of Adrian Peterson, who is a freak of fucking nature. But even Adrian Peterson, when he tore his ACL in the NFL, his speed went from being fast as fuck to reduced. When Seth Rollins fucked his entire knee up. It took him a year and a half to even come close to what Seth Rollins we had before his knee injury when he was WWE Champion, defending that title every single month. WWE's just got to get it through their head. The size of the wrestler does not matter. He's not a Donovan Dijak or a Chris Dijak who's in NXT right now doing springboard moonsaults or springboard elbow drops. It's just he doesn't have the mobility. He is going to be a Baron Corbin who can only work a certain style, and when they try and work him another style, he's not going to do well whatsoever. So having him come out there and say a good big man is going to always beat a good little man is fucking stupid. He's not good. He sucks in the ring. His mic work sucks. This is my opinion. You don't like it, I don't care. This guy is going to be a failure. Putting him up against Daniel Bryan is smart to try and get this guy heat, because who better than a Daniel Bryan? That would be like if Johnny Gargano was up on WWE and he was as over as Daniel Bryan. You would put somebody like a Big Cass or Tommaso Ciampa. This is like Tommaso Ciampa. You want this guy to get heel heat? You have him wreck Johnny Gargano's life. People love Johnny wrestling. He was stabbed in the back by his best friend. I know they're two different sizes, but you get my point. Big Cass is going to go nowhere. I have no desire to see him. Him coming out and cutting a fucking shitty-ass promo does not help him one bit. Let's see here. We also had Sin Cara was asked about Aj Styles and Shinsuke. Apparently, they're going to have a match next week, so it's a step up from jobbers. But Sin Cara, unless they let these two have a match, which they should, but it looks like Sin Cara is just going to be another victim under Aj Styles and Shinsuke. Hopefully, Sin Cara and him, because these two do go back. They were in CMLL or AAA back before the WWE days. This is the Hunico version of Sin Cara, but these two do know each other, and he said he knew Aj Styles and Shinsuke since he was 14 years old. But I can hope that hopefully we can get a good match between these two. I doubt it, because Sin Cara has been a jobber forever, and quite honestly, Sin Cara is one of those type of gimmicks that could be passed on when Hunico is done with WWE or they release him. They still have the Sin Cara name, so if they have somebody else, they can, and the size can change, and it could be different guys. You don't have to kill Sin Cara. Sin Cara should be one of those guys like a Tiger Mask who goes out there and can give you a good match. I mean, you can't compare Sin Cara to Tiger Mask, but there's been different Tiger Masks. There's up to 4, and I think they're doing it. I think there's another one that Kota Ibushi does every once in a while. Sin Cara is on Sin Cara 2, in my opinion, actually, because the original Sin Cara, Mystico, is already gone. He's off wrestling in the independents in Mexico and whatnot. So this guy should be able to at least get some kind of push, some kind of run. He could be a guy who is a good mid-carder, but WWE doesn't see that as him. And him versus, I hope we can get at least a 10-minute match between these two. It would be great. Get to see what Sin Cara and Aj Styles and Shinsuke can do. It can give us more. It can give the crowd a taste of Aj Styles and Shinsuke instead of just seeing him come out there, kick the shit out of him, whatever that fucking double knees, his double knees, his running knees into the corner twice, and then the hammerlock DDT. Give this guy 10 minutes on SmackDown. These two, in my opinion, could probably put on a great match because they are known. They know each other from the past. And usually, when you see good friends or friends friends backstage, they always put on good matches. That's why Charlotte versus Becky was a great match tonight. Was it a 5-star classic? No, but those two put on a better match than what we saw with Asuka and Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, because those two suck. So hopefully, Almas and Sin Cara, which are going to be next week, they can have give them 10 minutes. It's a 2-hour show. You can give these two 10 minutes because it helps you see what Sin Cara can do, because I still say Sin Cara could be an asset to WWE if they use him right. And we also, because I know everybody wants to see it, I'm tired of seeing a guy who was NXT champion from November to WrestleMania weekend, from War Games to New Orleans. I would like to see this guy show what he can do on the main roster, so we're not just seeing this slow build. 2 weeks against jobbers is one thing. Let him and Sin Cara go out there and show you what these two can do. That's what I want to think. Let me know what you think, because I'm tired of seeing somebody who doesn't need to go through jobbers. Everybody who watches NXT knows what this guy can do. Let these guys, I know they're not going to have a Gargano-Almas type match, or Gargano or Almas and Aleister Black match, but they could have a decent TV match. Let that happen. Don't use Sin Cara as a jobber next week. Let this be a match that's like, wow, that's a great fucking match. I can't wait to see Almas what he can do, and maybe Sin Cara can actually be saved too, in my opinion. This is my opinion. You don't like it? Oh well. New Day versus Rusev versus Samoa Joe was also the main event. This was a pretty good match. Of course, the New Day. I don't like their comedy. I'm tired of their comedy, but they had a good match until, of course, the end where Miz just fucked up and pissed off Samoa Joe and Rusev. When you have the New Day and they'll play the pancakes, what do you expect? And seriously, the ending was kind of fucking stupid. But let's talk about the beginning of the show, which was Carmella opening the show. Gag me with a fucking spoon. This bitch is awful. My microphone's not working, no.
Because Mela is money. And the age of...
And they rightfully boo because you suck.
And the age of Asuka... Asuka was undefeated, but now just defeated. It used to be no one is ready for Asuka, but now I mean, everybody's ready for Asuka. You're ready for Asuka? You are right there with the drool. I get it. Hotter in person than I on TV, so I don't blame you. But you with the drool, you're ready for Asuka. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Raise your hand if you're ready for Asuka, because I'm ready for Asuka. I'm ready for Asuka.
So many people raise their hand though. Asuka makes her entrance. And then Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville make their entrance.
I was a second away from beating Asuka.
Yeah, maybe in your dreams, Mandy Rose, but yeah, don't think about that.
And now that I know the truth, I know I can beat Asuka tonight.
Again, really? Like, seriously, you think you can beat Asuka? Do you want her to tear your arm out, tear your leg off, or just rip your head off? Really, seriously. You beating Asuka? Please. That's funny.
Hold on a second, Mandy. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. You left just enough of Asuka for me. So tonight, it's my turn.
You're right, Sonya. But Mandy does raise a good so Mandy, Sonya, undefeated Asuka would take them both.
When was the last time Asuka was in a handicap match?
Robe and your mask, yourself in her. Out of here.
You actually have hopefully stating. So, who do you want? I'm going to give you a choice. Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville? Give me four! She wants both! She wants both! She does to Asuka we all know and love. She wants both, ladies. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it will be Asuka versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose in a handicap match next.
I like the way she ended that. She's just like, next. Like, and one thing I gotta say about Paige, which is nice, is you see her once, maybe twice a night. You don't see her like overbearing like when Kurt Angle. You see him 3-4 times a night dealing with all these fucking problems, and now with Baron Corbin as the constable. I'm the constable of Monday Night Raw. I'm here to restore order. Fuck that shit. You only see her once or twice a night, like we saw in the opening segment, and then for the contract signing, and that was it. Which is nice. It doesn't overbear the SmackDown audience to seeing Paige as the general manager. That match was. Can we just like forget about that? I mean, we had Sonya Deville and Asuka, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose versus Asuka, and of course, who was on fucking commentary. But oh my god, did you know I beat Chalotte 2 times? I beat her on SmackDown Live thanks to the Iconics, and I beat her at Backlash. I beat her twice, so I'm 2 times better than Asuka. Carmella should never touch a mic or be on commentary again. She is god fucking awful. The Deville hit a spear for a 2 count after Carmella distracts Asuka. Then she gets on the announce table and starts moonwalking because she can, I guess. Deville does take advantage of that. Eventually, toward the end of the match, Deville hits a spear, which makes me begs a question. Sonya Deville uses a spear, only never wins a match. Charlotte hits a spear. I think wins maybe 9 times out of 10. She doesn't win with it. This always begs a question to me. What makes Roman Reigns, who uses the spear as a finisher, so devastating? Charlotte does it. Sonya Deville does it. I've seen, like, the Big Show used to do it when he wrestled. I think Kevin Owens has used it once or twice. What makes Roman Reigns' spear so devastating? That's always something that, like, bothers me. It's like, this guy uses a setup move. Same thing with Edge, when Edge was in WWE and wrestling. What makes those spears so devastating that other people use the spear too and get 2 counts? It makes no sense to me. The spear should never, ever be a setup move. A finisher. It's just not devastating at all. Just a nitpick for me right there. Asuka puts the Asuka lock on Deville for the tap out, and your winner is Asuka. After the match, Carmella gets in the ring, and Mandy Rose shows up from behind her and tries to attack her. That distracts Asuka, and Carmella with the title belt on the back of Asuka, kick to the face, and that's the segment. Which pretty much tells me that unless something happens and Asuka gets her momentum back, Asuka is winning at Money in the Bank. It's just WWE logic. Then we have The Miz in the back with The New Day. The Miz in the back with The New Day. The New Day asks The Miz for help deciding who will join Money in the Bank. But do they really, really mean that?
Give us some really hard truth. Really did give us some hard truth last week. Truths that are so hard, it made it difficult for us to decide who's going to be in the match.
Yep. Which is why we wanted you to help us reveal our member to the entire WWE universe.
Rephrase. Help us choose in the bank. What's the catch?
Oh, there's no catch, man. Look, it's just papers in a hat. Yep. All you have to do is reach your grubby little fingers inside Mr. Bootyworth's hat and pick a name.
The name that you select will be the member of the New Day that in the Money in the Bank match. So that your boys, the New Day, can become Mr. Money's in the Bank. Are you done?
This whole grinding thing is ridiculous.
Okay, now, yeah.
So, let's find out which member it will be.
Wait a second, hold up.
No peeking, dude. No peeking. Oh my, come on, man.
So the Miz's headband he's wearing, he pulls it down. And
I know who it is.
do you really think that the New Day was going to let the Miz pick who's going to Money in the Bank? Like, seriously. These guys just don't know how to take anything seriously. The New Day are not funny to me. Yes, they're all great in-ring workers. They put on good matches, but their outside shenanigans are just not funny. They haven't been for a while.
Well, I know who I'm going to.
So Xavier Woods turns around, grabs another hat filled with what else? Pancake batter, and they're all wearing pancake power shirts. I like pancakes, but these guys are making me not want to eat another pancake in my life. Waffles for life.
Money in the Bank. Can we please get this? Oh yeah. Go
Miz goes to reach into the hat, and they start laughing.
kid, man. Yes. New Day. You think this is funny? Yes. You know what's gonna be real funny? What? When Samoa Joe puts you to sleep, and Rusev Mascot kicks you, and I beat you once again with the skull-crushing finale.
Just flopping that pancake batter on all of them.
No, not Booty Worth.
Who's playing Mr. Bootyworth? Like, seriously. Who's the dude playing Mr. Bootyworth? That's my question. I mean, he does go over and then just splatters all the rest of the pancake batter onto the Mr. Bootyworth, and that was the end of that segment. Another WWE trying to make the New Day funny, which they have not been for a while. The Bludgeon Brothers are here then, and I was really shocked because they haven't been seen other than in cutscenes or backstage segments for, what was it, since the Greatest Royal Rumble? Like, seriously, the last time I swear we saw the Bludgeon Brothers was when they faced the Usos at the Greatest Royal Rumble in April. In a match. Seriously? Then it was Luke Harper versus Carl Anderson. Harper with the drop kick right as soon as the bell rings. Those are really awesome when you're just sitting there and you're just watching, you're like, and then, woo, action right away. Harper all over Anderson from the get-go of this match. Black Hole Slam by Harper to Anderson. Anderson is in the corner. Luke Harper goes to attack him again. Anderson moves out of the way, rolls up Luke Harper. 1, 2, 3. I think he had the tights, but there wasn't a camera angle to show that. And Carl Anderson wins the match. So apparently that's just showing you that the number one contenders are going to lose at Money in the Bank. Yay. Then we had Naomi and Jimmy Uso. They had a promo in the back, which is not on here, which is fine. Pretty much saying that they're going to feel the glow. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Oh, that rigmarole. They were wearing special red, white, and blue Texas colors. I guess they're both from Texas or something, so gay for them. Lana gets a lot of offense. Lana was allowed to have a lot of offense on Naomi tonight. I think that was not smart, but what do I know? So, yeah, they had Lana pretty much make a fool out of Naomi for the majority of this match. It was Lana all over Naomi for most of this match. What happens then? Naomi, of course, gets, eventually, and the big story was here is that you had Lana in the match with Aiden English. Aiden English gets kicked in the throat, and they want to make it seem like that was a big deal because Lana, that's the moneymaker. They had that happen. That was the end of the match happened. Naomi, Lana ends up tagging in Aiden English. Aiden English pretty much tries to, he mocked Jimmy Uso doing the oofs in the corner, trying to do the Samoan splash, back shot in the corner. Naomi ends up jumping off the top rope, splashing on him, super kick to the throat. 1, 2, 3. Naomi and Jimmy Uso win. Who'd you think was gonna win this match? I mean, come on. And then the contract signing. This started out and then got interesting. It was Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, trade barbs doing explosive contract signing. More like AJ Styles slapped the shit out of Shinsuke Nakamura. Let me see if I got everything right here.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura and the champion AJ Styles. And your match at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship will be.
They have these guys. It looks like it's supposed to be a boardroom, but there's a table. 5 chairs, 5 of those nice comfortable chairs, which I wish I had one of those. You had Paige in the middle, in the center, at the end. You had Nakamura and Styles on one end, and you had Adam Pearce on Nakamura's side and Dean Malenko on AJ Styles' side. Pretty much there to play security for this entire contract signing, so we didn't have anybody go through a table, which we didn't. We did have some explosion towards the end, but here you go.
Last man standing. So that means the winner will be determined when one man is incapacitated and unable to answer the 10 count that the referee gives you. And I assure you, there will be a winner.
Really, Paige? How are you going to assure that? Are you going to, when both men are knocked down, if both men are knocked down, is the referee not going to count? You're there has to be a winner, so I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to wait. Is that what you mean by assuring there's going to be a winner? Really, Paige? I want to know how A last man standing match is going to assure a winner. We've had this before with last man standing match. Shawn Michaels and Triple H in 2004's Royal Rumble. Both men didn't reach the counts. I'm trying to think of another one, but I can't off the top of my head. But it's happened before. What's going to stop them from doing it again?
Is there any questions?
No questions, but more like a statement, if that's all right with you. Shin, I feel like we've been at this war with each other forever. Played your dirty little games. You drove me to the edge. Now I think I understand why. Why you do what you do. Because you know straight up, you can't beat me. That's why you hide behind your low blows and pretend you can't speak the English language. That's why you picked a match where stipulation is you can do anything and keep me down for a 10 count. But just know, every little dirty trick you have up your sleeve, not gonna work. I'm walking out of Money in the Bank the same way I walked in. The WWE champion.
AJ Styles signs the contract. They had, this contract for whatever reason had 2 pens in the binder that they usually have. It's usually they just have the one on the side. But for some reason they had 2 for this. This is good.
It's out of the ink.
He just tosses it.
Can I please borrow your pen?
Just looks at it like, let me look at this thing.
This pen is broken.
Just tosses it right back at AJ Styles. This entire time, Styles is not happy.
Get up! Get up like a man! Stand up!
Pierce and Damon Lincoln are right all on AJ right now.
Stand up! Be a man! Tired of these games. No. I'm fine.
Nakamura is like, ooh! Nakamura feigns like he's actually going to get up, and AJ Styles just hung up and slaps this guy the taste out of his mouth.
What the hell are you doing, AJ?
I got gangs. Let's play!
Pierce and Damon Lincoln pull AJ Styles out of the room. Nakamura looks like, he just like, shit, that hurt. I wonder how hard he actually hit him because that looked hard. And all of a sudden, Shinsuke Nakamura just opens his coat jacket, and just pulls out a pen with a smile on his face, like, "Hey, I had a pen on me all this time, motherfucker. I'm gonna sit here and just play games with you."
That's bad.
A little bit of. And Paige just looks annoyed. That's just good television right there. That was a great part of this night. That was funny. That was absolutely 100% funny. I will tell you that right now. He is definitely, like, I don't know how they're going to do this. We still have one more week. Who knows what they're going to do? There was nothing announced tonight for next week for these two, but we will see what they do. I'm pretty sure you're going to have some kind of final confrontation. We'll probably hear something from them next week leading into Money in the Bank, because this is the only world title on the line at Money in the Bank. Chalotte versus Becky Lynch, very, very good match between these two. There was early on in the match, they both looked like kicky cut, like they did this nice little tea time thing, the little tea time, little fake, like the little tea thing. Then they both try to go kick each other in the gut. They both catch their leg. They like put it down. They put it down at the same time, and these guys just put on a hell of a match. And the match ends when for some reason, it's in her contract. I swear it's in her contract. You must do a moonsault. And, of course, Charlotte tries to go for the moonsault and eats Becky Lynch's knees. Flair tries to go for the figure 8 twice. Becky Lynch turns it into the disarm her, and she taps out Charlotte Flair clean as a whistle in a very, very good TV match. These two put on they put on a better match than what we saw with the Usos and Lana and Aiden English earlier. So there you go. These two should be feuding with. These two should be the next two challengers for Asuka, or if they want to not have Asuka win it, which they should. Asuka or whoever wins at Money in the Bank, which should be Asuka. It should be Becky Lynch in Extreme Rules, and then you get Charlotte versus Asuka at at SummerSlam, with Asuka winning because they have bigger plans for Charlotte, and I say she's going to win the Royal Rumble next year, plain and simple. She is the only one, if they want to have this Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey match at WrestleMania, she is the only one that makes sense for that match next year. Do they have the Samoa Joe promo? I don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Let me pull this up again for a second. No, they do not, unfortunately. That is a great promo that he had. He pretty much just sends a warning to everybody in Money in the Bank. Samoa Joe's words, I just can't, can't just give you what he does, and he does it well. They don't have Big Cass's promo. I don't fucking care about that promo. I already went over it earlier. Women's Summit next week for all 4 members of SmackDown's Money in the Bank participants, with Charlotte, Becky, Nana, and Naomi are going to be presided over a page. Is she going to sit there and try and rally the troops? One of you 4 women have to win the Money in the Bank ladder match next week, so, at Money in the Bank, so we can have both briefcases in our possession. That's not going to happen. One for Raw, one for SmackDown. That's how it's going to go. It's the most obvious thing ever. And then with Big Cass, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass was announced this past weekend by Paige over Twitter. Paige has been using Twitter for her general manager job more than Daniel Bryan did, and more than I think Kurt Angle has, since she's been the general manager 2 weeks, the night after WrestleMania, 2 nights after WrestleMania. She has pretty much, she doesn't make matches usually on SmackDown unless it's for the opening segment. Most of the matches she announces are going to be through Twitter. So, yeah. What will he do different? He says, I am a big man. Says he walked behind Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He's been disgusted. Daniel Bryan was the WWE champion. Calls his win a fluke. His win at Backlash was also a fluke. He does say that Daniel Bryan, for a little man, does pack a good punch. A good big man will always defeat a good little man. Shows Bryan passing out last week to Joe, then Cass after the match booting him in the face. Says Daniel brought this on himself. I don't know how you can even say that. How does that even make any fucking sense? What has Daniel Bryan done to you other than, kick your ass at Backlash and, I don't know, trying to take your knee out because you deserved it? Cass says Bryan has never faced anyone who holds a grudge like I do. Daniel Bryan, I will rip your arms off and beat them while beat you with them. I will then take your legs and I will snap them like a twig. He needs to take his ball and go home. He needs to be a guardian gnome on Total Bellas. Whatever. He will be beaten and battered and come to the slow realization that a pathetic little man like him will not survive in this big man's world. Give me a fucking break. His promos absolutely suck. His promos absolutely fucking suck. This guy, I went over it, I ran it on earlier. Big Cass is just a wasted roster spot. Send him away, future endeavor him, and have him go on his way. He is terrible. I don't care what his fucking size is. The guy can't work in the ring. His fucking knee is a liability now, because even when Daniel Bryan kicked his knee a couple weeks ago in UK, it was reports that maybe he's injured again. That's going to be a problem. He could go into this match against Daniel Bryan, one dragon screw, and he's fucked. One bad dragon screw, or he takes a wrong step, and he could be fucked. This guy is going to be a liability to WWE. He's not going to do anything. Then we get Sin Cara with Dasha Robato.
Now, please welcome the high-flying superstar, Sin Cara.
Now, please welcome the high-flying superstar, Sin Cara. Her Hispanic nature doesn't come out unless she's talking to Sin Cara or one of those guys. I don't know why. Why don't you use that every time? Usually, she kind of hide it for whatever reason. Maybe they make her hide it, but when she talks to Sin Cara, Andrade Cien Almas, or anybody else of Hispanic descent, it does come out of her.
Sin Cara, last week you were snubbed by Andrade Cien Almas and his Vega. Were you wrong to were friends?
I've known Andrade since he was 14 years old. I consider him like my brother. Then, something happened.
Something happens?
Are you referring to me? Because I'm not just some thing. Okay, the best thing that's ever happened to Andrade. Because when he had you as a role model, he accomplished nothing. Actually, he told me that you made him hide behind a mask. Made him weak.
That is total bullshit, that entire thing, because that's just the Mexican lifestyle. You want to be a wrestler? 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, you wrestle under a mask until you lose a mask versus mask match. Plain and simple. Them trying to say, oh, Sin Cara made him wrestle under mask, did not like that little tidbit right there. That kind of just is stupid. That probably offended Mexican wrestlers all over the world with that kind of language. Every single person in wrestling, in luchadors, they all wrestle under the mask unless they lose, unless I'm wrong somewhere. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
I taught him that he doesn't have to hide, that he doesn't have to respect anybody, especially you.
That's not true. Eso es mentira y tú lo sabes.
Oh, no, it's not? No? Okay, so then why did Andrade have me go to Paige, request a match against you next week? Huh?
Calumnias tuyas.
And then almost from behind.
¡Levántate! ¡Tú no eres mi amigo! ¡Tú no eres mi amigo!
Oh, not
¡Tú
it.
no eres mi amigo! Te veo!
Can I just say, almost keep the words to let Zelina Vega talk and use her words. You have very broken English. It's no offense to Johnny Cena Almas, but you are the guy who does the action. Zelina Vega is the one who does all the talking, plain and simple. So again, I'm hoping next week, I could always hope this, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen. Give these guys at least 10 minutes. It's a 30-minute, it's a 60-minute, it's a 2-hour show. 10 minutes to Johnny Cena Almas and Sin Cara would not be a bad thing, because it shows off. Sin Cara is not going to be a WWE champion or a US champion anytime soon, but it lets him and Johnny Cena Almas show off what Johnny Cena Almas can do. Fans want to see him show off what he can do, not just be like, well, there's Johnny Cena Almas, he just squashed another guy. Enough of those. Jobbers are the guys who were the first two guys. Give these guys 10 minutes, and they will show you why Almas should be the next Mexican superstar to be close to eventually, not this year, he's still got another year or two for this, but in Johnny Cena Almas, by WrestleMania 36, yes, 36, could possibly be a WWE champion, if not wrestling in the main event of a WrestleMania 36 for the WWE Championship, or if he's in WWE on Raw, which I doubt, which they like to have the Hispanic characters run SmackDown Live. He could be the champ. He could be WWE champion, either going into or challenging at WrestleMania 36. Not 35; those plans are already working. But he could be the next big star to be wrestling for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 36. That's 2 years. That's a year and a half, a year and 9 months or so from now. That would be great to see Johnny Cena Almas at 36 wrestling for the WWE Championship. He could even win the Royal Rumble in 2020. How about that? Could you imagine 2020's Royal Rumble winner Andrade Cien Almas? Book it. It could happen, and if WWE plays their cards right, he could be a major star and bigger than what Rey Mysterio did in WWE, and bigger than what anything Alberto Del Rio did in WWE. He could be one of the, if not the greatest luchador star in WWE history, if Vince McMahon in WWE allows it. You might think I'm crazy, but I can see it, because the guy can be money, plain and simple. We come down to the main event of the night, which was the New Day versus Rusev. Samoa Joe and The Miz. No Aiden English to introduce Rusev Day because of his injury earlier in the night. Nice attention to detail. I think it would have looked bad for Rusev if they would have had, like Rusev Day and Aiden English, if they just would have had him come out and just be like, oh, well, my throat's fine. No, they actually had that done well. But Woods and Miz start this off. Miz with the hot start. Woods with the discus elbow to the Miz. Woods tags in Kofi, who does a couple moves to the Miz, and then he tags in Big E, who does a nice little running splash. All three men get their stuff in early on the Miz for the 1-2. Joe tags in and he jabs and knees Big E, who ends up hitting, and this was a feat of strength if I didn't see one. He actually just grabs Samoa Joe and actually belly to bellies him. I know Big E is a big dude, but Samoa Joe is still, he's not a small dude. Hitting that belly to belly on him gotta be a feat of strength if I ever seen one. Woods tags in and goes after Miz and Rusev. Joe comes over and hits him and nails him with an enziguri, step of enziguri to Woods as they go to break. Miz is with a headlock on Woods, back from break. Woods fights back with Miz with a knee to the gut on Woods. He props Woods up on the top turnbuckle. Miz goes for the superplex, but Woods knocks him down. The Miz is then hit with a dropkick off the top rope. Joe tags in and Joe chases E off of the apron, and Rusev comes over and takes out Big E. Woods takes down Joe with a couple shots and a knee to the face. He eventually tags in Kofi, and Miz tags in at the same time. Kofi with a crossbody off the top rope for a 2 count. SOS blocked but a leaping clothesline followed by the boom drop. Kofi goes for a Trouble in Paradise, but instead goes over and knocks Joe off the apron and eats a Miz DDT for a 2 count. Miz goes for the Skull Crusher finale, but Kofi blocks that. Big E with the overhead belly to belly, then goes for a dive through the ropes with knees by Rusev, then a kick to the head. Joe tags in and hits the Uranagi in the corner for a 2 count when Woods breaks it up. He then takes care of Rusev and dives over the top rope, which I just love when somebody does that leap over the top rope. The tope con hile, I think they call it. The tope con hile. I can't pronounce it right. Always a great match. Always a great move by them. Especially when it's done right. Miz tags in and sends Joe towards Big E, but Kofi ends up pulling the rope down and dropping Joe to the outside. Kofi looks like he's about ready to do a leap into the ring, and what's he do instead? He does a leap and then a trust fall onto Samoa Joe, a thing of fucking beauty. Kofi with the trust fall, Joe looks like he's about ready, Big E looks to tag in Xavier Woods, but Samoa Joe grabs him and actually puts him in the Coquina Clutch, so he does get put to sleep for a moment. Well, he gets put to sleep, he is out for the remainder of this match, which is coming to an end. Taking him out, they look to take care of Big E. Miz grabs the pancake. Samoa Joe and Rusev have Big E pulled up, and I'm like, what are they going to do with this tray of pancakes? Miz, I believe Kofi Kingston comes up and gets elbowed, or Woods, or whichever, gets elbowed in the face coming up. So Miz turns around and just tosses the pancakes, hitting both Samoa Joe and Rusev. What does that happen to him? Machka kick to the Miz. Backsplat, running senton by Samoa Joe onto the Miz. Those two just bail. So Miz trying to make a fool out of Big E with a plate of pancakes. Can we get rid of the fucking pancakes? Can we get rid of the fucking pancakes? It's fucking stupid. Thank you, WWE, for putting New Day in a fucking lumberjack match. Why? Because this is where this whole pancake shit came from. Where did the pancakes come from? Oh, I don't know. Back in December, was it? Maybe May, or I think not May. Maybe it was January, whenever it was the New Day versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a lumberjack match. Xavier Woods was like, pancakes. We're going to start doing pancakes. And Vince McMahon was like, I love it. Do it. And that's why we have pancakes. Miz ends up getting hit with the Midnight Hour for the 1, 2, 3. Your winners are the New Day. So Smackdown had a lot of downs and a couple ups. The contract signing was good. The women's match between Chalotte and Becky Lynch, of course, expectantly, was great for a TV match. Honestly, I wish those two could have feuded instead of Ruby Riott, which, give her a due, Ruby Riott deserved to have at least a championship match before they moved over to Raw. I wish the Fastlane match would have been Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, with the winner going to WrestleMania to take on Asuka. That would have been a great match. That would have made Fastlane just a little bit better than it was, which Fastlane really wasn't a good pay-per-view. But if you would have had Charlotte Which, no disrespect to Ruby Riott, her and Charlotte had a good match at Fastlane, but Becky Lynch versus Charlotte would have been a much better match in my opinion, and would have probably been the show stealer for that night. But that is your SmackDown Live review. Make sure to hit that follow button, subscribe button, comment down below, smash that like button. Also turn that bell on for all notifications, since I guess the sub boxes don't work for half the people. But my name is LaFrance. Find me on Twitter at LaFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/LaFrance08, where I stream every single day. And I will see you guys tomorrow, where we have NXT, where Roderick Strong takes on, I think it's Orny Lorcan or Danny Burch, whichever one. I am looking forward to that match. Until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you're at the world, and I will see you later.